Hey everyone, welcome back to PMLearn. Have you ever wondered why two project managers with the exact same budget, the exact same timeline, and the exact same methodologies can end up with completely different results? One sails smoothly to the finish line, while the other gets trapped in a endless loop of delays and administrative red tape. The secret is not magic, it's the project environment. Today, we are pulling back to the curtain on the invisible forces that surround every single project you run. Whether you are preparing for your PMP exam or turning real world corporate initiatives, understanding this landscape will change how you manage projects forever. Let's dive in. Real world example. Think of planning a seed. The quality of your seed is your project plan, but the soil, the rainfall, and the climate represent the environment. If the soil is toxic or the climate has a sudden drought, even the best seed in the world won't grow. In business, a company's internal culture or sudden regulatory changes represent that climate. Understanding the landscape. Before we write a single line of a project plan, we have to map our out landscape. Every project operates within an active ecosystem. You are never working in a vacuum. The decisions you make as a project manager must consistently adapt to the realistics of your surroundings. If you ignore these elements, they will quietly dismantle your project from the inside out. Real world example. Imagine building a brand new state of the art data warehouse in an area prone to regular earthquakes. If you don't map out the physical environment beforehand, your physical servers might literally collapse. Mapping the landscape saves you from building systems that the environment is designed to reject. The dual forces of influence. In project management and specifically under the PMBOK guidelines, the environment is divided into two major distinct forces. On the left, we have enterprise environmental factors or EEFs. Think of EEFs as the rules of the game you have to follow. They are conditions you do not control, but you must respect. On the right, we have organizational process assets or OPAs. Think of OPAs as your corporate toolbox. They are resources, templates, and corporate memory created by your organization that you can actively leverage to make your life easier. Example. When Apple designed the Vision Pro, the existing laws regarding user data privacy (GDPR) were EEFs. They could not change them. They just had a completely. On the other hand, Apple's proprietary software code bases, their internal design systems, and lessons learned from developing the iPad were OPAs. Tools they already post and accelerated their timeline. Imagine right text left. Let's zoom into EEFs first. Starting with the ones internal to your company. These are corporate realities that already exist within your firm before your project even starts. First, we have organizational culture. Is your company highly bureaucratic or fast moving and agile? Second is infrastructure. Do you have the actual hardware and servers to handle the load? Third is resource availability. Are there physical metrics and rooms ready? And finally, employee competency. Does your team actually have the skills required, or do you need to budget or training? Example, imagine you are a project manager tasked with deploying a machine learning tool. If your company's culture is highly risk averse and your team's skills are limited to traditional databases, these are internal EEFs. You must immediately factor in extra time to train your employees and budget for culture building workshops to get buy in. Bleed image right. External EEFs. But what about the world outside your company? Those are external EEFs and they represent macro environment forces. This includes marketplace conditions, industry standards, political climates, and regulatory laws. These are completely out of your control, and when they shift, they can change the entire direction of your project overnight. Example, look at the global microchip storage during the early 2020s. Automakers like Ford and Toyota had projects lined up to build thousands of new vehicles. But a major external EEF, the lack of semiconductor manufacturing capacity overseas, delayed projects globally. Project managers had to rewrite their procurement strategies entirely, providing the external macro forces discredit project success. Now that we are covered the constraints, let's talk about our secret weapon, organizational process assets, OPAs. OPAs are your organizational's accumulated wisdom. This is the collective institutional memory that prevents you from reinventing the wheel on every single project. Example, think of a master chef opening a new restaurant chain. They don't guess the recipes or ingredients each time. They use a highly protected cookbook developed over decades. That cookbook is an OPAS. OPAs are divided into two main categories, and the first is process, policies, and procedures. These are standardized steps established by your PMO or organization. During initiating and planning, you get standard templates and pre-approval checklist. During executing and controlling, you get risk guidelines, standard change control workshops, and quality metrics. And during closure, you get transfer policies to ensure handoffs are clean and legally sound. Example, when NASA prepares for a space launch, they don't write a new safety checklist from scratch. They use standard flight readiness checklist developed over 60 years of space flight history to verify every single bolt and wire. This is a rigid, life-saving procedural OPAS. The second category of OPAs is knowledge repositories. This is where your company stores its data. We have historical databases containing schedules and cost of past projects. Lessons learned repositories detailing what went right and what horribly wrong. Financial records showing past labor rates and issue logs that store past engineering challenges. This is corporate gold. Example, if a software development firm is estimating the cost to build a new mobile app for a client, they don't guess. The project manager opens their historical databases and finds a similar app built in 2024. By analyzing the past developer hours and cost baseline, they can deliver an incredibly accurate quote in minutes. Let's talk about power. Your authority as a project manager is not just about your leadership style. It's dictated by your company's organizational structure. In a fully projectized company, your authority is 100%. You control the budget, you assign the task, and the team reports directly to you. But in traditional functional structures, you might just be a project coordinator with zero direct authority. Example: at a heavily prioritized tech company like Spotify, squads are built around specific features. The squad leads have near total authority over their product, features, budgets, and engineering time. At a traditional bank with a strict functional hierarchy, a project manager might have to beg three department heads just to get a developer for 2 hours a week. Let's visualize this hierarchy. In a functional structure, you have practically no power. Moving to a weak matrix gives you a minor role. Once you reach a strong matrix, your influence rises to around 75%. And finally, a projectized structure gives you almost absolute control over your project destiny. Knowing where your company sits on these charts tells you exactly how much negotiation you will need to do secure resources. Example: imagine you are launching a marketing campaign. In a functional setup, you have to request graphic design help from the creative director, who might say no because of internal priorities. In a prioritized setup, the graphic designer is hired directly for your team and you manage their task daily. So, how do we pull all of this into action? Here is your step-by-step PMLearn environmental strategy. First, scan your EEFs, look at company culture and team skills. Second, harvest your OPAs. Grab those lessons learned and templates. Third, map your power and you in a functional or projectized setup. And fourth, design your tailored project management plan based on these real world constraints. Example: a newly hired project manager at a global logistics firm is tasked with upgrading their warehouse software. Instead of launching straight into code, she follows this workflow. She checks local union regulations, which is EEF, pulls past software installation templates, OPAs, identifies here a strong metrics authority label, and design a rollout schedule that perfectly matches the local warehouse shift patterns. Now, I want to hear from you. What kind of organizational structure does your company have and how does it affect your projects? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow PMs and subscribe to PMLearn Academy for your daily dose of project management mastery. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and I will see you in the next video.